Hello everyone, welcome to a new video of the indicator store of the series Do It Yourself. And today I want to explain how to use markers, Marker Plus or Markers Pro to create a very simple trade setup. Let's say we have a Bollinger like this, and we want to detect breakouts. For example, when the price crosses above, crosses below, and maybe also if you want to filter with the volume. Let's see step by step. So then you can decide which is your preferred combination of rules. First of all, we need the lines that we are going to use. Okay, for example, the Bollinger has 3 lines, and we need the upper and also the lower. The volume instead is an internal variable, so we don't need to copy. More about that later. So we start by using markers copy with the lines that we need. In this example, we need the upper line and the lower line. So we go to indicators. The indicator store is the folder. Markers copy. And we choose a name for the first line. I am going to use upper. And then on input series, we click and select the indicator, in this case Bollinger. The parameters, in this case 2 and 50. And the line that we want to copy, the upper one. Okay? When we click on apply, markers copy by default is going to draw those little dots overlapping with the Bollinger. This is to check that what I copy is what I see, because if, for example, I made a mistake on the parameters, let's say I used a different period, okay, then what I copy is not what I see. And markers is going to use that line to create the signals, okay? So let's go back to the correct settings. And now we also have the option to use the same colors and then remove the indicator, because the indicator is the original indicator. The Bollinger is just for visual. So this is an optional step. That depends on what you prefer. Okay, if you want to use the same colors, you can use a line solid of 3 pixels. Solid of 3 pixels, and the color is orange red. Orange red, okay? So now the copied line is equal to the original line. If I remove the Bollinger, if I make it invisible, you can see that it only remains the copy. And by the way, I can select that line, right click and copy, and then click on another place, right click and paste. And now I have 2 copies with the same name, and you can see we have an error because you cannot copy 2 different things with the same name. But we save some time, because now we don't need to search for the indicator. We already have another markers copy with the correct indicator and the same input parameters. I only need to change the name for the variable, for example, lower, and also the plot. Okay, so on input series, we can see that the parameters are already set. I only need to select the correct line, lower band. Okay, apply, and now I have the 2 copied lines. The original indicator is for visual, it is optional. We can remove it, we can leave it, that's optional. Now that we have the copied lines, we need a logic. For example, I can say the close of the bar is over the line, and previously it was below the line. Or the high of the bar is over, and previously it was below. There are so many combinations. Let's see some examples. So we need a markers logic, and here we type the logic using internal variables like close, open, volume, and also copied variables. For example, the close on the current bar is greater than upper on the current bar. When that condition is true, if I click on apply, we can see the areas where that is true. Okay, but also I want to check when on the previous bar it is below. So, and the close one bar ago is less than upper one bar ago. And now, sorry, the close one bar ago is less than the upper one bar ago. Okay, now we have even less combinations. We can make it more restrictive, like for example, let's say I want the close over the current bar and also the high 3 bars ago with enough space. Okay, something like this. I am closing over. The close was, this is the current close, this is the previous close, and also 2 bars ago I have a space. I can say that also, and the high of 3 bars ago is less than the line upper 3 bars ago. So now it is more restrictive, okay, because we are also, it is not oscillating near the line. This is for the longs, okay? And maybe if you want the volume to be part of this, here, look at the volume. The volume is during the session more or less greater than this level, greater than 1000, more or less here, 1000. Or the number that you prefer. So I only need to type and volume greater than 1000, for example. Let's do an example. And the volume on the current bar is greater than 1000. Now I don't get almost no signals. There is only one signal here because there is more than 1000. Okay, but anyway, it is a good signal. And another here, and maybe more here. Those signals are too, let me make them more dark green. Okay, perfect. Now for the shorts, it is similar because I only need to check that the close is less than lower. So I can select, right click and copy, click on another place, right click and paste. Now I have two identical logics, and we can convert the second to shorts. So the close now is less than the lower on the current bar, and also the close 1 bar ago is greater than lower 1 bar ago. And also the high, no, the low, 3 bars ago is greater than lower 3 bars ago, and the volume is greater than 1000. When that is true, then the background in red, and we get something like this. Okay, we have a close below this line, and the volume is greater than 1000. We can place all the histograms together, and maybe to have a difference between the longs and the short, we can make the histograms different with a different color. This is the logic for the longs, so we can paint the histogram in color green and the other in color red. Okay, so the background is green, the histogram is green, the background is red, the histogram is red. So now we have everything automated. Now you can say, okay, and where is the automation? Well, now we only need to add, to create signals and then add markers to trade those signals. Example here. Those longs are created by this markers logic that paints the background in color green. And also I want to create the fast signal, for example, go long. And this is a string. And for the shorts, I create the fast signal, short. You can choose any string, but try to avoid using spaces. This is the name of the variable. Now, with those fast signals, I can add markers, markers pro, for example, or marker plus, and configure the fast signal mode with go long and go short. Okay? And now it is ready. It is ready to detect and execute only if the long and short buttons are enabled. Also, that if we are on automatic mode, and also if we have an ATM selected. How can I do that? Okay, I select chart trader. I choose my preferred ATM. I don't know, anyone. Okay. So now that I have an ATM, I click here. I choose an account and then click on my account button. Now if I want to trade all the longs and all the shorts, I enable those buttons and then select automatic. Now it is ready. There are a lot of more features that we can add, like for example filters, or also the time to trade. All of that is selected from markers. We have daily limits, times to trade, exit conditions, entry methods. Currently we are entering at market, but there are a lot of more configurations. But this is the most basic method of using markers. So in a very short description, we need to copy the lines that we need. So we need this line and this line. Then with the logic, we write the logic in a math format. You can see here the math, and create visual signals and also markers signals with the option of using fast signals. For more info, you can contact me on the chat room that we have on Discord. The access is free and the instructions are on the description of this video. Thank you everyone. Bye bye.